Snaefell Mountain Course. For some of you, this circuit may still be unfamiliar, especially when it comes to the various racing events held here. But one thing is certain. This is a circuit that has claimed the lives of hundreds of racers. It is often referred to as the most dangerous racing circuit in the world. At the time this video was made, the circuit had claimed 270 riders over the course of its history. And if counted in full, the total number of fatalities from all racing events held here could be even higher. That's because the victims were not only riders, but also spectators, marshals, police officers on duty during races, and even members of the organizing committee who were not spared from tragedy. Horrific accidents have become a common sight on this public road circuit. Some crash clips have even gone viral on social media, showing the tragic fate of riders who were less fortunate. Thinking about testing your speed there? It might be wiser to enjoy it safely from your couch in front of the TV. Let's take a flashback. One of the oldest racing events ever held on this circuit is the Isle of Man TT. This event actually takes place on an island called the Isle of Man. The island is a self-governing crown dependency, neither part of the United Kingdom nor the European Union. Although it falls under British protection for defense matters, the Isle of Man has its own parliament called Tynwald, its own legal system, and even its own currency. This is what gives the island its unique autonomy. For your information, the Isle of Man has a population of around 88,000 people, with a land area of approximately 572 square kilometers. Although the island is still smaller than New York City, which is about 37% larger, its topography is more than enough to push a rider's adrenaline to the absolute limit.
Scary tips it in there, and oh my! Whoa! What a moment that was.
The Isle of Man was first used as a racing course on Tuesday, May 28, 1907. At that time, riders tested their nerves by racing motorcycles around the island. The race took place during the British Spring Bank holiday toward the end of May and lasted for 2 weeks. Back then, the event was known as the International Autocycle Tourist Trophy. It was organized by the Autocycle Club using a 10-lap format on the old St. John's short course. 4 years later, in 1911, the race was moved to a new route east of the previous track and was named the Snaefell Mountain Course, more commonly referred to as the Mountain Course. Along with that change, the event itself was renamed the Isle of Man TT, or Isle of Man Tourist Trophy. The circuit measures 37.73 miles or 60.7 kilometers, roughly the same distance as traveling from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore, Maryland. To this day, the Isle of Man TT is still contested using large-capacity motorcycles ranging from 600 cubic centimeters to 1,000 cubic centimeters, divided into 6 classes.
Here we go then, sidecar race 2. On the line.
Typically, races are run over 4 laps, covering a total distance of around 150 miles or 240 kilometers, roughly equivalent to traveling from New York City to Philadelphia. In addition to the main Isle of Man TT event, the Snaefell Mountain Course is also used for other races such as the Manx Grand Prix and the Classic TT. Unlike most race circuits that are purpose-built for competition, the Snaefell Mountain Course is essentially a transformed public road, uneven, bumpy, and contoured, used for 2-wheel and 3-wheel racing. Along this course, don't expect to find gravel traps on the edge of the track. Even spotting foam padding at the end of a section can feel like a huge relief.
And, oh! Hutchie's down.
Imagine this. Along a 37.73-mile course, the only barriers you'll find are house walls, cliffs, wooden fences, wire fences, and most terrifying of all, rocky drop-offs. This road circuit features more than 200 corners, with uneven surfaces, bumps, elevation changes, and constant ups and downs. But on the other hand, it also has long straights capable of pushing a 1,000 cubic centimeter motorcycle to speeds of 206.9 miles per hour or 331.5 kilometers per hour. That record was set by James Hillier, riding a Kawasaki H2R during a demonstration run, as quoted from Kawasaki's official website. There were even reports that the H2R's speedometer briefly showed a higher number, 222 miles per hour, around 357 kilometers per hour. That speed was achieved on the Sulby Straight, a 1.5 mile or 2.4 kilometer straight, using a Kawasaki Ninja H2R in 2015. What James Hillier did was somewhat similar to what Valentino Rossi did in 2009 when he took part in a parade lap at the Isle of Man TT Mountain Course 1 week before race week. However, the organizers had a different idea this time, allowing Hillier to perform a solo time attack in front of riders and fans. The result was a Ninja H2R, already viral at the time for its claimed 400 kilometers per hour top speed in Turkey, setting a 331.5 kilometers per hour top speed record that still stands today. That said, this run was not part of an official race. Many believe the Kawasaki Ninja H2R could have gone even faster. However, the bumpy surface, uneven track, and unpredictable wind conditions forced Hillier to hold back on the throttle.
So that was interesting.
Since its first race in 1907, hundreds of riders have fallen on the circuit. The courage required to race at the Snaefell Mountain Course is no joke. Every meter demands total focus, because even the smallest mistake can be fatal. One of the most famous modern-era accidents involved local rider Connor Cummins, born in 1986. The incident occurred in 2010 during the Isle of Man TT. At the time, Cummins was still relatively young, just 24 years old. The horrific crash happened before the 30th mile, specifically in the mountain box section. Cummins was pushing his Kawasaki ZX-10R hard in an attempt to set his best time. Unfortunately, he lost front-end grip and was thrown off the track. Beyond the road, he was immediately met by a steep drop, with stone fencing from farmland below. The crash was truly terrifying. Cummins's body slammed into multiple hard objects outside the circuit before he was finally left motionless in the middle of a farmer's field. Fortunately, Cummins survived despite being in critical condition and was rushed to the hospital. Footage of Connor Cummins' crash at the Snaefell Mountain Course went viral worldwide. However, many viewers didn't realize that he actually survived the incident. As a result of the crash, Cummins suffered severe injuries: a broken left arm, 2 fractured vertebrae, a cracked pelvis, and swelling in his lungs. After undergoing intensive treatment for 9 months, Cummins stubbornly returned to racing in 2011. His comeback makes it difficult to comprehend just how powerful the ambition of Isle of Man racers truly is. What do you think? Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to hit the like button. Your support really means a lot and helps us keep making more content like this. Several areas of the Snaefell Mountain Course are known as particularly deadly zones. One of them lies between Ballacrane, Bank Laurel, and Glen Helen. In this area, sunlight is often blocked by overhanging tree branches and leaves, creating a strobe-like effect that makes it extremely difficult for riders to read the road. In this section alone, dozens of riders have been killed across various racing events.
Still must be very sore.
We're on board with Milky Quail, and you can see there a bit of a fly problem. It's very, very tricky around the Isle of Man. Oh, and he brushed the ball!
Another equally deadly spot is Ballow Bridge. This area is considered one of the most dangerous points on the Snaefell Mountain Course. Records show that 6 riders have died around this bridge. The most well-known crash here is the fatal accident involving Bob Price. During the 2014 Isle of Man TT Supersport race, Bob Price was traveling from south to north across Ballow Bridge. Tragically, excessive speed caused his motorcycle to launch into the air and lose control. Bob Price was thrown from the bike and slammed into the wall of a pub, which was only protected by about 1 meter of foam padding. The impact killed him instantly. What makes this even harder to believe is that Bob Price was no longer young. He was 65 years old, essentially a grandfather. Riding his Yamaha YZF-R6, his speed at the time of the crash was estimated at around 100 miles per hour. It is believed that he lost concentration after navigating a long section that demanded extreme focus. He died on lap 3 of 4. Absolutely horrifying. What happened to Bob Price was the price of a hobby and an ambition. The same hobby shared by many men. Rest in peace, Bob Price.
We go through here. This has come up to 27th.
The most recent fatal incident at the Snaefell Mountain Course occurred in 2024. Irish rider Lewis O'Regan was killed during a qualifying session at 5 p.m. in the Manx Grand Prix. The crash occurred in the Kate's Cottage hillside section about 12 kilometers before the finish line. Louis O'Regan lost his life while pushing for a fast time on his MV Augusta F3. This tragedy once again added to the long list of fatalities at the Snaefell Mountain Course. The incident involving Lewis O'Regan was not captured on camera. In fact, most accidents at the Manx Grand Prix and other events on this circuit are never recorded. From all recorded rider fatalities at the Snaefell Mountain Course, data compiled from Wikipedia shows that the highest number occurred during the 2005 racing season. That year alone, 9 riders were killed, 6 of whom were from the United Kingdom. Beyond riders, fatalities at the Snaefell Mountain Course have also included spectators, marshals, and police officers. Records show 2 spectators, 5 marshals, 1 police officer, and 3 race officials lost their lives while stationed along the course. According to Wikipedia data, the total number of deaths across all Snaefell Mountain Course events, including riders, spectators, police, and others, has reached 281 fatalities. The number of injured or seriously wounded is impossible to count. The largest number of fatalities came from the United Kingdom, totaling 207 victims, followed by 18 riders from the Isle of Man itself. The rest came from various European countries. From Asia, 3 riders from Japan were recorded, and 8 riders from Australia. This race, which has been held for more than 110 years, continues to go on, despite being halted during World War I and World War II. It is an extremely dangerous race that truly puts lives on the line. In fact, according to circulating reports, due to the extreme danger, riders affiliated with the Italian Motorcycling Federation, FMI, are not permitted to participate in Snaefell Mountain Course events. Racing at the Snaefell Mountain Course is one of the most thrilling and adrenaline-pumping experiences for riders. And for anyone watching, either in person or through a screen, the tension is almost guaranteed to be felt. Even so, not a single professional MotoGP rider has ever competed in the Isle of Man TT. Even Valentino Rossi has acknowledged the madness of Isle of Man TT racers. According to Rossi, on permanent circuits, riders can still make mistakes without fatal consequences. But at the Isle of Man TT, there is no second chance, only luck. As Valentino Rossi once said, "The circuit is incredible, but unfortunately it's too dangerous. If you make a mistake, it could be your last. Rossi himself experienced the Isle of Man TT road course only once, during a parade 1 week before race week at the 2009 Snaefell Mountain Course event. At the time, Rossi attended as a Yamaha brand ambassador. Like this kind of content? Please give it a like. If you spot any mistakes in this video, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.